All right, here we are on July 7th, going over Cueanon proofs, Q proofs. This is actually going to be the military ones, part 3 of the series. 1 and 2 you can see from the last couple days. And really, we're going to go into Q news and some prophecies and all that in a separate video probably later today. But so we're just going to go over only Q proofs right now. And it looks like we've got some people joining us live. Not many notifications went out on the last video. Hopefully more will go out. Terry Bordeaux, as, what is it? Badeau, Rodney Dawkins, Funny Heart. Thank you guys. What up from Kansas? Good to see you. And so, hey, if you are watching the video, obviously, you can fast forward this part, but I've got around, 100 to 200 people coming per day on this channel. So I mention this in every video. If you have your mobile phone, you can just click on the right and you can skip this part, right? If you on a desktop, just drag that little thing about 30 seconds apart. But again, if you want to see me live, you have to hit the little bell to it says all notifications. Also, you will need to have notifications to come to your front screen, right? Another thing, guys, I'm having a lot of people tell me that they're not getting their notifications. Number 1. Number 2, it's being switched off. Number 3, even their subscriptions coming off. So as part of a potential lawsuit, I would really like if you guys have any of those 3 things happen to you, just use the word evidence so I can search it later. Just say evidence, and then tell me what happened to you think there's censorship or discrimination going on this channel. Would appreciate that. Let's get moving. Q proofs, part 3, military, July 7th. Digging into these right now. So as you can see, Cueanon has not posted for the last 3 days. He got some great information referring to an old post down here that I analyzed several days ago. But we're going to talk about going to this, and this is Cueanon.pub, where you can go research all these things I'm showing you, right? Here is QProofs.com, which is talking about the biggest intel drop in our history. Do you believe in coincidences? And there's all these coincidences. That's just hundreds of them basically line up in these different categories. We've gone over Twitter and White House. Now we're going to go over the military. If you click on the military, it'll bring you to this one. And you'll see all these files down below that there's 12 of them, I believe, that we're going to go over. So so the first one would be right here. You click on this bottom one, and you can actually go see these yourself on QProofs.com. So there we go. Here is actually a 12/9/17. These are all going to be related somehow to the military. We love our U.S. military. On behalf of the entire nation, thank you for your sacrifice and service. Time step. How many clues must we provide? Q. So here's Q clearly telling us that this sentence is exactly what goes later. Look at the timestamp here. So 1:37. I think this is 1:34. 10:54 a.m. actually, and then all of a sudden you see at 1:37 President Donald Trump says the exact same thing. We love our U.S. military on behalf of the entire nation. Thank you for your sacrifice and service. Word for word, and same day, 12/9, 1:37 p.m. versus 10:54. So again, coincidence? Potentially. Almost impossible on something like this, right? This is clearly Trump telling us, trust Q. And Q saying, I'm working with Trump, right, to help take down the deep state, as we'll find out as we get into more detail here. Here's another one. As the second one goes into all these sec test 1 through 5 and device 1X, and then all of a sudden the signature 55 read, and it has these 58 spaces in kill brackets, right? And so that's actually 58 total spaces. And you'll see that is February 21st, I believe this is, and about 8 o'clock at night. On February 21st, Q posts a string of coded text to verify the security of the communication. Q leaves 58 spaces in brackets, which is then validated by Trump on February 22nd by placing 58 unnecessary spaces in his tweet. And you can see here's the tweet that he did on, you can go look at this for yourself, right, that he did on December 22nd. And you'll see, trying to find the actual date, there it is. It's kind of hard to see because it's in green. February 2018, 6:31 a.m. And there's 58 spaces all of a sudden between the end of the sentence and the Make America Great Again. So that is, again, undeniable coincidence here. And then QAnon later comes back to make sure, did you count the spaces in the tweet and cross-reference against spaces left here to match meaning? And you can see This was February 22nd, right after that happened, right? February 22nd, 6:30 a.m. And here he is that night telling us to go back and count the spaces. So Anons did it, put this side by side together for you so that you can trust it. That's the whole point here. If we look at this next one, fire breaks out at Hillary Bill Clinton's compound in what is that? Chappaqua, New York, where they have their abode there, right? And you look on, here's January 3rd article about that fire. But look what happened on December 19th. We won't telegraph our moves to the enemy. We will, however, light a fire to flush them out. Fire in capital letters. And then there's this fire there. And so what actually happened there, I don't think anybody knows for sure. We do know the IG report did talk about the house, though, and that they're interviewing some witnesses that were going in and out of there. And one in this skiff, the sensitive compartmental, what is that? Compartmented, they said. I think it is compartmental, but information facility. So that sensitive compartmental information facility, that what's the skiff that was in Hillary's house, right? And so obviously that allowed potentially white hats to get in there. The fire did. And then later we see February 22nd. Later, clowns revealed in China Other 2010, 187, talking about murder, right? Sold intel, HRC open source server. This is how they were selling the secrets, by getting in the information off the private email server that would never be discovered from all the acts that we have that we can get to governmental servers, right? So missing emails, CrowdStrike. But look at talking about the server. That server could have been in the skiff inside Hillary's room. Who knows what was going on there? What recent news came out about SRJAWL? That's Seth Rich, and that's Julian Assange and WikiLeaks lawsuit back in the news. The server brings down the house. And so obviously new information that came out. I've covered that in the previous video if you want to get into the details of it. But obviously the server is huge here. Q equals Alice. You'll soon understand the meaning behind Alice and Wonderland. That's interesting. I don't know if I remember seeing this. Everything has meaning. God bless. So it's going to be real interesting to see how when all this coded messages come out. But obviously, light a fire to flush them out for the enemies. Talking about the fire that was literally the IG report actually talked about as well. Again, just coincidences showing the coordination of real live events with what Q's telling us about in advance. Here's another very obvious one, in my opinion. If you look at this, we are looking at Cueanon on January 13th, and here, have you not discovered the confirmed correlation between post here and tweets yet? Right, and here, and in the header here says, how do you know Q is real? A white hat? Not a part of the silent coup desperately trying to take down the duly elected sitting U.S. president? The answer, he answers it, because he's been proving it like this for months. Hashtag QAnon, hashtag Great Awakening, hashtag We the People. Right, so it's basically talking about the first thing that happened in this one, fascinating, on January 13th. Q asked if we trusted the chain of command. Today, the Department of Defense tweeted about a National Geographic airing of chain of command. And there just happened to be a coffee mug in the show with the letter Q. So this was basically the January 15th deal. But look what happened on January 13th. He talks about, do you trust the chain of command? Have faith, we are in control. There it is. 2 days beforehand, there's a tweet that literally came out on January 15th before the show came out, saying, go deep inside the war on violent extremism with chain of command. Premiering tonight by 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. National Geographic for you. And so look at that. And then the show, you go, there's a Q mug in there. Right, so those three things are just almost undeniable proof. And that's just one of over 100 of these that we're talking about, right? Let's go to the next one. Here's a very complex one. I don't have time to really go through all with you because it takes forever. All these freedom codes that were actually posted on November 25th. And this was a drop by Q. and there's tons of stuff. And I thought it was military codes or whatever, but no, the Anons got in there and actually used these different decoding techniques. One example would be like looking at all these codes that Q gave us here, and it talks about it's a decipher code sequence, and it kind of talks about how they basically decoded that, and it came to red children. And so the idea is that there's children being trafficked, and that they're going to be, and they point to all the articles that they're going to basically use to justify military tribunals and taking out these people as enemy combatants that are doing this. And so some of the articles they talk about are like Article 27, detail of trial counsel and defense counsel, Article 81, jurisdiction of general court martials. This is what it talks about, including the penalty of death and military tribunals. So people who don't understand, when you look at all the executive orders that came out on the 21st and the other executive orders and the omnibus funding, we are funded, Gitmo's ready to go. Military tribunals can be used for citizens that are not military if they've done crimes that have been, did what the executive 21st executive order talked about, and that is crimes against human trafficking, etc., right? So go read the executive order from December 21st, and you'll see it opens this up. And there's all kinds of pleas of the accused articles that this decoding over there is pointing to. I'm talking about maiming, red children, red, right? Talking about a person subject to this chapter who, with intent to injure, disfigure, or disable, inflicts upon the person of another or injury which seriously disfigures the person. So this is just really sick stuff, but it's basically pointing out destroys or disables any member or organ of his body. There's a lot of accusations of organ harvesting going on. Seriously diminishes his physical vigor by the injury or any member or organ. And so this is all pointing back, and if you put it back to here, it's coming back to this whole multiple meanings here, which is pointing back to all these codes that were deciphered, right? Talking about all these articles 124, what I just read you. There's articles, extortion, 927, that's talked about, a civilian subject ordered or to arrest or confinement, clearly showing that a civilian subject can be arrested by the military. You got the Article 850 here, and so they're relating it to some specific people here, like John McCain and Nancy Pelosi. The defense of lack of mental responsibility, kind of with the whole, I supposedly have brain cancer, when I think Trump has alluded that that's not the case, and so has Q. Here's an Article 36, where it says President may prescribe rules, and gives all kinds of details here on what he can do that has to do with basically military tribunals and bringing these down. Now here is Article 58, execution of confinement, where the military can get involved here. You can probably see this. And I make sure that I'm not covering up any of this here, so I can scoot it over a little bit. It also talks about the confinement under the control of any of the armed forces or in any penal or correctional institution under the control of the United States. So guys, people who say that you cannot try on a military court a civilian is wrong, based upon all the executive orders and all these articles that we're looking at right now. Article 4, court-martial jurisdiction, gives us some more details. So this is a good one to go look at yourself and really dig into what all this says. Would be probably very much worth your time. I think I might have missed Article 80 of attempts, an act done with specific intent to commit an offense under the chapter amounting to more than mere preparation and tending, even though failing to effect its commission in an attempt to commit that offense. So basically, we're going to have a lot of bases to basically fund and execute military tribunals to take down the cabal that is doing, terrible human trafficking type crimes. And so that is a beautiful thing. Here's another Q proof that we move on to. This one is way back in 12/9, so December 9th, and Q says, what has been said about the U.S. military? And then you'll see if I can get down to it better. And I'm trying to figure out why this bracket's here. First time I saw that, I just read through everything else. This makes sense if you just read through this, though. Trump tweets, "We love our U.S. military on behalf of the entire nation. Thank you for your sacrifice and service," at 12:37. So we saw that, right? And this is just a different reference in a different way. But and you'll see, "Have a great game today. U.S. Army and U.S. Navy, I'll be watching. We love our U.S. military on behalf of the entire nation. Thank you for your sacrifice," right? And then you see that same U.S. military command here, and it basically was confirmed. And this time he actually showed us, literally, look at the post, 134 U.S. military from the post here at 134, and then POTUS 137 U.S. military. So it's exactly 3 minutes apart. We see the exact same post. And he basically warned us about it beforehand, and actually posted, and that just again another more detailed view of that proof. Here's one that says "Future proves past," right? And it's talking about April 8th post when it's talking about authorization B19-2. See that? Authorization B19-2, and here is Trump's quote, where he does this quite a time, his tweet, where he does this quite a bit, where he actually misspells something on purpose. And missiles, nice and new. He's talking about April 11th. I'm not sure if this is the one that was misspelled, but he's talking about missiles, nice and new. And here the U.S. Department of Defense Twitter talks a little bit later. So you'll see April 15th again. This is April 15th. This is a little bit later. This came back April 8th, the week before, telling us about this. And if you decode this, this could be, these are basically 2 B-1 bombers, employed 19 of these JASSM-ERs, which are new missiles. So they have 19 of these missiles, 19 B, and there's 2 of them, 2 B-1s, 19 missiles, of which these missiles are nice and new. So again, just some more coordination between Trump's Twitter, the military's Twitter, and also Q. Right, you're just giving a significant amount of. It's not just Trump working by himself in isolation. It's also Trump actually working with the military and the NSA, and Admiral Rogers, now just retired, with his backup. But Admiral Rogers was a big part of this whole thing. Here's another one that's a little bit long, but I think it's worth it looking at it. December 18th, you see how about a nice game of chess? Splash, Fox 3Q. Right, that was December 18th. December 22nd, he talks about missile, Fox 3 Splash again. Missile spelled correctly there with 2 S's, right? And so the intentional misspelling of missile, Q wants us to focus on the missile. So you see right here, missile defense bill, 30 minutes. Trump tweets about missile defense. Trump mentions 30 minutes, similar to the 38 minutes in Hawaii, that of that 37-minute emergency that happened. Intentional misspelling of missile, Q wants us to focus on the missile. Fox 3 indicates launch of an active radar-guided missile. Splash. The missile launch will be sabotage. It's going to be splash away. It's not going to hurt anything. So the speculation here is that the cabal tried to launch a missile attack in Hawaii, maybe targeting the wizards and warlocks based there or the general population. NASA knew that the attack in advance, and they throttled it, like they did in the New York City subway bomber with the BDT, which I covered in a previous video. Bottom line is that Trump knows what's going on in advance, and because of the NSA has all their intelligent operations, and they have all this information focused on all the deep state characters who they know who they are. But they need to get, and that's what all those sealed indictments are all about, right? As they start. But even more importantly, and that it allows them to stop these acts of these acts of literally trying to start wars, right? So here we go on non-nuclear. January 7th, he gets another DEFCON 1, but it says it's non-nuclear. Q talks about non-nuclear event. And January 12th, you got Julian Assange tweets a famous chess match. Next move is queen to f3, which is Q Fox 3, right? So basically, you even have Julian Assange coordinating here with Q. And then you see on January 13th, the missile threat that they basically knock it down or throw it in the ocean. But it creates this. There's a lot of speculation about why they would have allowed this to happen when they knew they were going to keep it from happening. But obviously, the deep state wants nuclear wars, right? They want that. So it's scary stuff that because they know they're in trouble. So anything to get away from it, and obviously they have the underground bunkers, all that type of stuff that's been well documented. January 14th. DEFCON 1 post versus Hawaii scare. Q says the New York subway bomber and Hawaii events are similar. The good guys, patriots, thralled at a FF event. Was a real missile attack stopped in Hawaii? Wizards and warlocks are located in Hawaii. Could they have been targeted? So that's the big long proof there. I think that's worth draining though. A couple more we have. I think like 3 more here. This one's kind of short. President Trump's military parade confirmed on Veterans Day in Washington, D.C. That happened on 3/10. President Trump's parade on November 11th will operate. Well, Q told us about that before anybody was talking about it. He told us back all the way on 3/6, right? That is 4 full days before 11/11/8, a parade that will never be forgotten. Coincidence? So he is working hand in hand with Trump. He knows what's going on beforehand. They tells us what's happening beforehand. This might be one of the reasons Alex Jones is attacking Cueanon. He can't stand somebody else having better information than he does. Because obviously Q does. It's been proven out ever since October 28th, since he's been posting. Cueanon's given us 100 times better, more accurate information versus the sensationalism of Alex Jones. Right now, here we go on. And that's one of the reasons why, I've respected Alex Jones. I think he's done a great work, but he has completely become anti-Q, despite all this evidence. So he's not after truth in this area. And that's one thing I know. So is he controlled opposition? Is he just jealous of the sourcing? Or is he being maybe threatened? Right? I'm not sure exactly what that motivation is. I don't want to judge, but I do know that he is lying about Q. And of course he's lying about Q, and so is Anti-School, and so is David and Unirock and all these other people, right? There's way too much evidence, and it's been going on every single, almost weekly, getting different pieces of evidence so that we can be sure this is true. And I tell you what, these Anons are brilliant. They'll throw out LARPs right away. They know when something's false, and they've been trying and looking and detailing this, and most of the Anons are completely on board and unified. Okay, so here's another one, just was almost undeniable on the 24th when he posted the picture of the Delaware crossing, and then you see the U.S. Department of Defense, again, a Twitter of the military, posting the exact same picture. The exact same picture. Did you know several big military events have happened on Christmas? Find out which ones. So I believe there are some military exercises going on Christmas Day that we'll find out about soon when things get released. Here is the last one, I believe. This is about freeing Flynn. And so you can see on March 28th, an Anon posts, "Free Flynn!" Q replies, "Done in 30. This will indicate we are in the final stage. And so there it is. It's basically 3:28. Anon says, "Free Flynn," and Q replies to that, basically saying, "Done in 30, house cleaning, White House secured, final stage." And then you see on April 27th, exactly 30 days later, the House Intelligence Committee report is released. The report clears Flynn's name, showing that FBI agents did not feel Flynn lied. House, and here it is, Fox News. House report backs claim that FBI agents did not think Flynn lied, despite the guilty plea. So there you go. You've got basically another just tremendous proof, right? And these just keep going on and on and on. We just got one here. I was watching Praying Medic just earlier this morning, and another great YouTuber. If those of you guys that don't know about him, you'll see him a lot on the Great Awakening on the Reddit.com. Go to Reddit.com and go there. Oops, there goes my phone. Sorry about that. I'm going to try to get that turned off so it doesn't keep going like that. All right. So anyway, what we have here is just massive confirmations, and what Praying Medic was actually talking about was just another great proof. And I'm going to bring it up because it just will help me. QAnon. And so I've been taking some of my favorites down on what I call confirmations. I've got like 23 of them here. The latest one says Q shows us 13 emails that were of people that were sharing private emails with Hillary. And we know it was Obama and Valerie Jarrett and John McCain, and there was 13 of them listed, right? And he showed that in November. Then Trump tweets many times about the 13 angry Democrats, even though some of them aren't registered Democrats or acting like it, right? But these are the 13 angry Democrats that are about ready to go down for one of the biggest frauds in U.S. history, sharing these private emails, selling out America. Latest one in mid-June. So basically, he talked about angry Democrats in mid-June. Then the IG report in July talked about 13 people sharing private emails with Hillary. Did not till July, and Q was talking about it in literally in November. So you can be rest assured that QAnon's giving us riddles, etc. He's going to have some disinformation, but in general, he is confusing the deep state that's watching here, as well as informing us in a very general way, to where it won't tip off the deep state, but will allow us to know it's happening. But he is allowing us to wake up, friends and family, wake up ourselves, our own minds, research, understand how much of an attack the deep state was, and how they literally had a 16-year plan to destroy America. And so you can find out all that in other videos. Here's another great website that talks about, I think, 45 undeniable proofs. The combined evidence of this thread provides proof beyond a reasonable doubt that QAnon is real. So this guy named Jason Wright, and that thread, the combined evidence in this thread provides proof beyond a reasonable doubt that Q is real. And so I think there's 45 proofs in here, and you can find this on the app.com is where this is. I'll put the link down below for those of you who want to dig into more details. But hey, tons of proof here. We'd love for you guys to also connect with me. I think I've got 22,631 subscribers. I want to thank every one of you. It's a huge number. I never ever thought that would be this large. But this is where you can come and obviously subscribe if you haven't, but also have link to my Twitter and my Facebook. My Facebook's brand new, just started it 3 days ago. So you can see here is the new Facebook account, and it's only about 300 of the 22,000 are on there right now. So if I get kicked off YouTube, I'm going to be using either Facebook or Twitter to let you know. I think here's my Twitter account. They're both at Blessed to Teach, so it's all three of them are coordinated at Blessed to Teach. And there's only around 3,500 of you on Twitter. So if you want to keep track of me and I get kicked off YouTube, probably the best thing to do is come to Facebook and or Twitter. Again, you can find both those links at the top of this page here at Blessed to Teach on YouTube. That's it, guys. Hope that you found this valuable. Q Proofs Part 3. It's so awesome to see him coordinate with the military Department of Defense Twitters, and just people like General Flynn, Julian Assange, all coordinating to take down the deep state. This is exciting times. It's the second American Revolution. I probably should talk to you guys for a little bit, just as a respect for everybody that's here live. It's like we have 361 of you on right now. Kimberly and YouTube Police, that's cute. Rebecca Church, Go to Mama, Ricky Johnson, Kimberly Curtis, Marina Paris, P. Locke, Go to Mama, Marina Paris. Thumbs up, everybody. Hey, I probably should hi from Missouri, says Miss Deborah. I like that. Thank you. Probably should pray real quick. Just do a turbo prayer here. Lord, thank you for the proofs you're giving us on QAnon, and allowing us to coordinate it, and then the proofs that we see in the prophecies that we've been studying here lately. Lord, just give us all wisdom and discernment to know what's true and what's not true about QAnon, what's true and not true about all the disinformation agents and Mockingbird Media. Help us discern through that. Give everyone that's listening to my voice right now just more wisdom, more blessings than they've ever had in their life, Lord. Allow them to be used in a mighty way in this movement as you take down the deep state and clean up this and heal this country and heal eventually most of the world. We say these things in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. Amen. All right, guys. Welcome to Mac. Always happy to see your posts. God bless, says Terry. Hello, y'all. Thanks for coming, Kimberly. So, again, I'm going to try to maybe post a little bit later today. I've got a bunch of Q news that's just awesome, and then another prophecy, obviously, and then maybe have a little more detailed discussion than I can have time for right now. But got to run here real quickly. Is Q a god? Nope. And why are you praying to it? We're not doing that. Okay, YouTube police, it looks like somebody that needs to be knocked off. Sorry, dude. That's just inconsiderate, rude, and incorrect. So if you want to have a discussion, that's fine. But you can catch me on the other mechanisms if you want to have a discussion about things. Which I obviously prayed to Jesus through Jesus and always do. Yeah, there's trolls. There's always going to be trolls, one or two trolls on here. I'm sure you guys can handle it. YouTube police, we are not praying to Q. That's right. That's just the Nixium database Delaware. There's going to be news coming about Nixium, Allison Mack, who just came out some more stuff, really sickening stuff, actually. So we'll go over that here in the next video here soon. But right now, this is Q Proofs Part 3 Military. Signing off here on July 7th. God bless y'all.